Donald Watt coming to you today with an exciting episode of the Real Spill podcast. Shout out to my man Chris Kidd for putting this thing together. He's the one that makes this show go. Today we're going to be talking about the wrap-up of the NBA Finals, how we feel about KD, how about Detroit with the 2004 Detroit team. We're just going to be having fun in the studio. We're excited. We're videoing the show now. You heard the podcast. Now we're videoing it on YouTube, so check us out. Donald Watts, Watch Basketball, Game Changers for Life, and Chris Kidd.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Real Spill podcast. We have another full house. Donald over here smiling. I know he's excited to get going, but let's get right into it. This podcast is brought to you by wattsbasketball.com. I will not say www. We found out last week that didn't go too well with Watts. So it's just wattsbasketball.com, Game Changers for Life, okay? This is where athletes learn to excel on and off the court while developing focus, confidence, and determination. They teach skills for the player and for the person. Skills that will last for life. Again, that's Game Changers for Life at wattsbasketball.com. But, like I said, we got a nice little house in here tonight. We got my man, as always, the legendary Donald Watts. Go ahead and speak on the mic, man.
Man, I'm tired of that legendary stuff. You act like I'm dead. I'm still dunking on guys, 360s, all of that stuff. You know, you ain't been on my Twitter feed in a while, huh? Still doing the same stuff I was doing when I met you. So you got to figure out another description for your boy, man. I'm still kicking. I'm still going strong.
We won't call him legendary. We'll just call him. We'll just call him.
Nah, it's all right. It's all right. That means I did a couple things people remember. Hey, I'm happy to be here for the show today. As always, excited. I'm ready to jump into this. We got a special guest here today.
Oh, yes, we do. Special guest, Dante Peterson. Uh-oh, phone.
Is that your phone?
Oh, man, the new guest with
That's your phone.
I think
Oh,
it's
my phone.
we do have another guest in the house, Dante Peterson. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Your name is what?
My name is Dante Peterson. I'm just a glorified fan. I'm pretty humble to be here today. Thank you guys for having me.
Not a problem, man.
This is a show about the fans, man.
About the fans, dropping knowledge, giving you facts, you name it. That's why Donald's here, because he's been in the game. He's played at a pretty high level.
Facts only. Everything real in my raps only.
Uh-oh. So basically,
Already.
So basically, I challenged Donald to every episode to drop a Jay-Z verse or a quote or a line. He's 1 for 1 today.
Hey, out of somewhere. Let me not distract us, though.
All right, let's get it going.
So from now on, though, when he does that, you can't call it out. We got to see if people catch it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Twitter, hit us up. You know where to find us. All right, here we go, though. Last night, you can't say history was made because I think everyone knew what was going to happen. Granted, I was a person that picked the Cavs to win it in 7. Didn't happen. KD had other ideas. He had other plans. This was a chance for him to shine on the biggest stage of his career, the NBA Finals. He already lost against LeBron once in 2012 when it was OKC with James Harden, potential MVP, Russell Westbrook, potential MVP. We've already discussed those guys with the numbers versus impact. Not much need to be said. He decided to take his talents to the West Coast and join Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and form a super team. And they ended up winning it all, 4-1. Donald over here laughing because, you look at the stats. Oh, did I say that? Oh, no, here we go, stats. I looked at all the players and how they matched up, and I really thought the Cavs had an opportunity. Granted, games 1 and 2, you can name guys that didn't show up. Of course you can. But it's the NBA Finals. You should be prepared for this game. There's no excuse, right? J.R. Smith, there's no reason for you to have 1 to 2 points in games 1 and 2, and then game 3 you have a coming out party with 16.
You just let me know when you're ready for me.
Oh, I'm always ready, man. So here we go, Donald. Golden State wins it all, right?
Yeah.
Did you think it was going to come down to 5 games, or did you? Because I know when we first talked about it,
I still think that Cleveland had a chance.
Perfect.
Right. I don't think that there's as big a talent separation as what most people say there is. And so when I hear this super team thing, it's kind of amusing to me because in Steph Curry, you have a guy who most people thought that he wasn't going to be big enough or good enough to play in the NBA. You have a guy who had 1 scholarship offer coming out of high school. In Klay Thompson, you had a guy who had very limited recruitment that went to college, had to go to college for 3 years or whatever before he got to the NBA. You have Draymond Green, who's a second-round pick, so you get those three guys who are the core of your team, and all of a sudden you're a super team. And then you add Durant to the mix. And, I mean, when you look at that and you look at, on the other side, you look at King James, a guy who ever since he was, 16 years old, people have been watching him. You look at Kevin Love, a guy that was definitely destined for NBA greatness very early, a guy that went to UCLA and, went there for 1 year, a guy that at one point, I think most people would say he was a top 5 guy, definitely a top 10 player in the NBA when he was in Minnesota, right? And then you look at Kyrie, a guy that comes from Duke, spends 1 year, and then the other team is a super team. I have a hard time with that, right? And I have a hard time with it because there's not, like, if the talent is so much different, what about how they came into it, right? And it's not the talent that's the difference, it's the process. And it's the approach to the way Golden State plays the game was what the difference is in the series. I actually thought Cleveland, and I still think Cleveland had a chance to win, but the problem is that LeBron doesn't play where he fits best on the court for his team.
On the block.
The problem, mid-post blocks, stuff like where physically he would have the best advantage on the court. He applies the same skill set that your point guard should. Now, I didn't say does, should, right?
And
because Kyrie is a point guard that is not a facilitating point guard. There were parts of the year where Kyrie was talking about how much better a job he was doing, seeing passing angles and stuff like that. But then when he got to the finals and pressure hit, it was all about him finishing. We didn't see the dimes and things like that we saw earlier in the playoffs and earlier during the regular season when everything was free-flowing. When the stress and pressure hit, they defaulted to what they know best. And at the end of the day, that was the problem in the series. They still, today, I'm going to say, had a chance to win, but if they were going to win, they had to do it with physicality. The one game that they did win, they won in an unsustainable fashion. They beat Golden State at Golden State's game. Kudos for that. The series was played in Golden State to Golden State's advantage. And you could hear Cleveland half of the series saying, oh, man, they're just so great. Oh, they're so good. Well, they got to be great at what they are great at, and you got to be great at what you're great at. And what Golden State, the super team, does is they play very, very well for each other. Their bench shows up, and it steps up because everybody understands the role at which they play. They understand when they're going to get the ball, and they understand, like, Steph dribbles too much sometimes, takes a wild shot sometimes, but then when he does it, it's like, ooh, that wasn't quite it. We're going to default back to, let me set a screen. Let me do this. Let's get some ball and player movement going. So I'm not buying the whole super team thing if you break down where they come from. Now, what has happened, and then I'm going to get off, but what has happened is the guys that I talked about, they're former college basketball players that learned to play with other people in a system. And so when LeBron and D Wade and all of these guys got together, it didn't quite work out the same as when you plugged KD into Golden State. It didn't quite, so everybody can be mad or whatever, and they can say, oh, LeBron's going to add this, Cleveland needs to add this. They can't. The people who they have aren't performing. If you add another piece, that piece is not going to find his way the way that they play. So what they need to do is focus and concentrating on establishing a different method and approach to the way they play the game. You think if Carmelo Anthony played with Cleveland, they would have beat Golden State? No, there just would have been more infighting, right? Which I'll go back to now why KD is at Golden State, which I see everybody is upset about or whatever. They won. People are, on that deal. He's playing with a point guard, didn't want to play with him.
He's having fun.
Yeah. When LeBron left Cleveland, LeBron was the king of his castle. When KD left OKC, it was debatable who the king was, right? He didn't leave a castle that was his castle. He left a castle where there was infighting, right? So he got out of there. And then he goes to Golden State where don't nobody care.
All right, Dante, it's your turn, man. The The Cavs had a chance. We know that. We watched the games. You saw what
I
happened.
mean, by the games, it didn't look like they had a chance. It
Okay,
looked like they
let
had
me-
a chance in hell by looking at the game.
Games 1 and 2, it didn't look like they had a chance. Game 3 and 4, I said, where was this team games 1 and 2? This energy. But go ahead, Dante.
Well, a couple of things, and I'm gonna touch on some of the things that Watts talked about, right? So when you look at how we got to the finals, you got to look at.
Who was we?
I'm talking about we, the viewers.
Oh, okay.
How we got to the finals.
No, see,
Now I'm about to
Cleveland,
say-
Golden
No.
State.
How we
I
got to
didn't
the
go
finals.
to the finals.
No. I'm talking about us, the viewership,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So
I got you.
we got to the finals that we, as the people, wanted to see, right? As soon as KD signed and made that announcement that he was going to Oakland, it was, all right, Golden State, Cleveland back in the finals. The season was just a formality. And the crazy thing is we had a historically great season. We got a triple-double average that we haven't seen, right? Whether that be manufactured or not, that's still up for debate, right? But I
those
never
numbers.
saw Oscar Robertson play, right? I wasn't alive when that happened, so I'm watching history.
Right. Trust this. His teammates weren't getting out of his way so he can get rebounds.
Right. That's again,
Yeah, I
we're
didn't have to
talking
see him play,
we're
but I
talking
know-
schematics,
You're
but
right. Nah.
how we got here, right? A team was formed on the West, a team was formed on the East, and how they were formed were two completely different ways. I did some statistics. I know you don't like stats, but I did some transactional stats. And since Steph has been drafted into this league, there were 5 trades, 5 signings, and 5 draft picks that you can point to that got Golden State to where they're at today. Since LeBron left Cleveland the first time, went to Miami, and came back to Cleveland, there's been some 25 signings or something like that. A slew of trades. I think it's almost 15 trades. Not one draft picked. There have been players that have been drafted, but not one of them was significant to how LeBron's team got to the finals. So when you look at Golden State and you say,
Can we pause that for a second?
yeah,
You said since he came back,
I'm talking since he left,
came
back.
That
think
that 6-year span, I think he's talking about.
Irving would be a draft pick
But-
that was significant.
But
to
what
him.
I'm saying is that draft pick did not happen while LeBron was there. I'm
Oh.
talking about draft picks to help build. So there's been 5 draft picks since Steph Curry came to the Warriors, that the Warriors can say, we drafted these guys with Steph on our team, and now we're in the finals for 3 straight years. You can't credit Kyrie when LeBron wasn't. He was in Miami when he got drafted.
But that was why he got drafted, because he left.
That's a byproduct, but
Okay,
it's not
maybe.
something that you can't. Kyrie never comes to Cleveland if LeBron stays.
Right. Yep. That's for sure.
Okay, so I'm not going to give him credit for that.
Right.
I'm only going to talk about the things that happened when LeBron was in that uniform, or at least on that roster.
When he was the general manager
However you want to, again,
and the coach.
however you want to talk about it, right? So we're talking about 2 different ways. One was literally manufactured, piecemealed together through transactions, and one was built, cultivated, right? So when you talk about this super team, like he said, 4 of the players on this super team were drafted by that team. The only one that signed was KD. Everyone else was drafted. Steph was drafted. Draymond was drafted, right? Harrison Barnes, before he left, was drafted. Clay, drafted. When you got
But people are mad at the one piece that they got.
the one piece that they got. What got them to this super team status, the 73 win team status, what got them there was the draft picks. I mean, yeah, they sprinkled in Iguodala, right? And he left Denver right after Denver got smacked by who? By Golden State. Oklahoma City gets smacked, loses a 3-1 lead. KD does the same thing that Iguodala did. He joined the team that beat him, and everybody ridiculed him for it.
So I guess it sounds like you had no problem with KD leaving.
Oh, I was happy. Come on, I'm
Okay.
from Seattle. If he left OKC and went and played for the Monstars, I was happy.
I respect that.
So I was looking at the right thing. The important thing for me was that KD left, right? I'm looking forward to when Russell Westbrook leaves, right? I don't want to see anything positive come out of that franchise. That's just me coming from a bitter ex-girlfriend type mentality where, you know, my love left. Right?
Sonics
in
gone.
The Sonics. But when you look at these teams, the talent is there. Everyone is a genius when it's all said and done. Everyone can predict what happens when it's already happened. But going in, you're not going to look at these two teams and says, "Oh, it's going to be a wrap."
It's just a different approach. It's a different approach to the game, and I think that where a lot of people try to discredit Curry, I think that if you're a quarterback and people want to play with you, I mean, you have to get a lot of credit for that. We were talking about this earlier, but there are certain guys in this league that, they have what it takes. I mean, super team. Let's talk about OKC in the finals against Miami.
Those are two. You could say those are two. I would say OKC wasn't mature enough. Yes, they had the talent.
I mean, they still weren't mature enough last year.
Okay, that's a fair argument. But they didn't have Harden either. But their first time there, they were.
Hold on now.
Okay.
They couldn't keep it together. And we can't say that Golden State is going to stay together, but the first opportunity for the guys to leave, not the first opportunity. KD stayed there after his first opportunity. But he was gone. And I don't think he was gone. If he was a happy camp, he was a disgruntled employee. He didn't like the way things were going. He didn't like the way practice was. He didn't like the way his teammates played with him. He didn't like hitting 5 in a row and not getting number 6, 7, and 8 because somebody else wanted to try. So he bounced.
Not to mention,
and I'm not a guy I don't like don't get me wrong, 3-1 you go join the winning team. I don't like that. I don't like that. But at the same time, I've played with dudes who don't like to pass the ball. I played with dudes, even coming up in high school. You play in little different things, AAU, different stuff where you're the guy and you got guys that are playing with you that are going to prove to you that you're not the guy. That's your teammate. For 82 games a year that you're supposed to be trying to win a championship with. And there was KD's not the type of person, I don't know him personally, but he doesn't strike me as the type of person that's going to go publicly and talk about a teammate. Talk about not being happy. He strikes me as a guy that's going to try to make it work, that's going to try to work with you, that's going, hey, he never had nothing bad to say about Westbrook. He had nothing bad to say about his teammates. But if you don't think that he didn't feel a certain way and they didn't feel a certain way about him and there was some disgruntledness. And so, I mean, what was Russell Westbrook's deal and then at the beginning of the season? Once he found out KD was left, what was his branding position?
Now I do what I want. Shout out Little Uzi Vert. He was having fun, quote unquote. But then
now he do what he wants. What was that? What did that refer to?
This is my team now, and that's what he wanted, right? That's what he wanted. And
so for me, just that would disqualify you from being the MVP of this league.
Respect. I have no problem with that because I look at
that would disqualify you. Kobe runs off Shaq. Kobe runs off
Pau Gasol. You name it.
Kobe runs off Phil Jackson. And then Kobe leads the league in scoring and assists and rebound, whatever, and they don't make the playoffs, they lose in the first round. You had a championship team. You decided to be a first-round out team. You can't be the MVP because you can't play with people who want to win because you want to do what you want. For me.
No. I
think you have to consider that. And just I feel like you have to consider the fact that Steph, Clay, Draymond are dudes that guys want to play with.
Perfect. And the thing is, when he won Finals MVP, it made so much sense. He had 35, 8, and 5. And he was doing one thing that we all stressed and we all talked about. And you tell your kids probably all the time, have fun while you're doing this. Mm-hmm. KD was out there doing that. We were talking before we came in the studio. I was saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy do you think KD was? 1 being, I'm not feeling too good. 10 being 11s. I heard 12s. He was excited. You've never seen such energy coming from a guy who was willing to play with other talented guys who can get the shots when they wanted to, but it's a team aspect down there. When they on a missed shot, when Cavs miss, it doesn't matter who's pushing the ball. It could be Draymond Green. It could be Andre Iguodala. They're pushing the ball. They're moving it. And KD, he thrived in that moment. You can't blame him. It was dominance. And
he was searching for something.
And he found it.
And he found it in Golden State.
Now,
here's the thing I'm going to predict. I predict he leaves. I predict he leaves.
Why you disagree, Dante?
I think that he hasn't even heard why I say it yet. You can ask, he can disagree if he wants. I think that the type of player that KD, he was looking for something.
He got it.
He got it. He's not going to leave this year. But I think that like when you hear them during the regular season and they're beating people or whatever, and he's interviewed after, he's just kind of like, hey, we're getting better every day. We're doing, he's excited to win the championship. But I think ultimately in KD's career, he will want to go somewhere and really establish the same thing that he found, that he became a part of. And I think he's the type of player that is good enough for a franchise to build that around. So ultimately, I think at some point, somebody's got to go. But I think at some point, he goes somewhere and is like the cornerstone, like he's enjoying what he's doing. But I think ultimately he'll find his way somewhere else where he can go try to just do that on his own.
Dante's rebuttal.
I disagree for a few reasons. For one, and it's going back to the comparison, when LeBron left Cleveland the first time and went to Miami, he took a huge pay cut. He could have got paid. Instead, we had to deal with Joe Johnson being the highest paid player, which is still a sore spot for me. But this year, when KD left, he got maxed out. In the salary cap, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I didn't memorize them, but they go up again. And so what LeBron has done, which is good for the basketball players from a business perspective, is had them thinking forward, not just for the next contract. So KD took a 2-year deal on one in opt out. So he'll opt out because the jump is happening this summer, and he'll get more money. But he's not going to take the max. I think he'll take less money. He'll take the Tim Duncan route, take less money so that the people around him can eat too. Just like Ace and Paid in Full, everybody eats. Because
everybody eats, B.
Because it's a situation where I don't have to worry about no drama. Like, I can hoop. I'm in a market. I'm not stuck in the middle of nowhere in OKC. I got Apple money coming. I got all these endorsements. He's going to be fine financially. But he's also going to be fine basketball-wise. And if somebody needs to own up and say, you know what, I need to get mine elsewhere, it'll be someone other than KD. He's top dog. There's nothing that's going to run him out of the Bay like Russell Westbrook ran him out of OKC. So why would he leave? For the sake of what? Money? No. Competition? Level up.
Yes.
I'm top dog. Come after me. Because the problem is he's always played second fiddle to LeBron his entire career. It's always been, he's the second best player. He's arguably the best player. He proved a point, or went out to prove a point, rather, that he should be in the conversation for best player in the league. Now he has the credentials. He's got the hardware. He's got the finals MVP. He's got the numbers. He's got the commercials, right? He's got the right market. Why would I leave that? To rebuild it?
I would say the reason he would leave, as Donald kind of touched on it, is because he found what he wanted. And I go back to when he tweeted, and when LeBron left to go to Miami, he tweeted, everybody want to join up and be super teams. Why not go at each other? And I think in the back of his mind, that's still there, which leads me back to Donald's point of he got what he wanted. He got a ring. Yes, he's going to sign for 3 years there, but after that third year, 2019, 2020, that might be his time again to jet and say, I'm going to find a home. I'm going to be the man. I'm going to do it how I did it. I'm going to find guys I can play with. And that's going to be his career. That's what I can see happening. I don't know if anything, I would say Klay Thompson would be the one to jet because he got two of them things. And he's kind of the guy that took a back seat, even though he has the numbers say otherwise. But his impact is on the defensive end. And I don't know if he's willing to sacrifice and say, I'm just a defensive guy. I don't have to worry about scoring because, cool, I got Steph, Draymond, Iggy, KD. we're loaded. I don't really need to go out and put 20 points per game.
Well, I think Iggy's going to be the first one to go.
He's
Iggy's
getting up there in age.
He's getting close to retirement.
Yeah, so Iggy, I understand that. And Iggy understands. So, but I really look at KD, and he got what he wanted. He really wanted to win a championship, and he, for whatever reason, because Russell Westbrook wanted to be that number one with him, it wasn't working out, and he made a decision to leave. And you see it. You watch the game. I've never seen KD have so much fun. You couldn't help but be happy for him. As much as I hated his decision to join a team that beat him.
Looking at the wrong thing, he left.
He left
OKC.
He left OKC, sure, but he could have joined 29 other teams in the NBA. He didn't have to.
So where should he have gone? That's been my question.
I mean,
where should he have gone?
Yeah, I'm not.
How about this? He could have went
you go
to the Wizards.
I mean, you're a free agent. You go where you want to go.
Well, I predicted he was going to go to the Wizards,
and I thought that too.
I thought he would, but
he didn't.
He didn't.
He wanted to win a ring.
But guess what? I wasn't mad at his decision, and here's why. You remember? You seen The Dark Knight, right? Hold on.
I think he wanted to play a certain way.
He did,
as opposed to wanting to win a ring. And obviously winning a ring is a
it's
part
key,
of that.
Yeah.
But I really feel like he wanted to, and I don't know KD like that, but I really feel like he wanted to hoop.
Well, he called it out. He called it out in that letter,
drama
right?
free, right? Like he wanted to just hoop and play with dudes who love hoop, play with dudes that's gonna share the ball. Like when I'm open, you're open. Let's go. Like let me go. Let's do this.
So for example,
not now, but I think eventually he will in some way, shape, or form have a desire to not find that, but go create that, like all-time greats do.
So, for example,
start chasing history.
What do you do every year, Donald, with your boys? You go to Shalam, right? Is that where you go to go hoop with your boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun. But you know, with that group, you're going to go out and compete.
Yeah.
You're going for it. You want to win it all,
mm-hmm.
but you know it's something, it's fun. It's what you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
I see that's what KD, that's what he was searching for. I need some boys that I can hoop with. I love Russell as a friend. Maybe not. Maybe the situation was funky. Let's go to the movies. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Things of that nature. You name it. I think he found that in Golden State. Doesn't mean he'll stay, though, because like you said, he got what he wanted.
I mean, I've been in situations professionally. I've been in situations, even beyond professionally, as an old dude hooping. And just said, hey, guess what? Like, I can't tell you who to play. I can't tell you who we want to go with. But what I can tell you is that if he's playing, I'm not.
It's like that, D?
Yeah. Yes,
just that
is.
simple.
I've done it as a kid. And I've said, hey, man, check this out. Like, me and dude don't really vibe too well. I'm the young dude. Can I play on my age group? Can you put me on the younger team? No. We're not going to do that. Not going to do that. You come practice the next day, and somebody's on the B team. Like, oh, that wasn't my intention. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't my intention. I wanted to do what I asked to do, which is play with my age group. These are older dudes. You know what I mean? And at this, same thing, man. We go play, national. You got a guy who's not, trying to, just has another agenda. And I love playing, but I'm not playing like that. So, like, I play to this for joy, which is what I really believe KD does at this point, right? Commercials, money, like all of that it matters to us. It don't matter to him. It's just stuff that comes with it. He plays for his joy. Right now, he found his joy doing what it is. But I think his real joy, what he'll ultimately find out, is in the challenge of creating what he found, not just finding it. Like, yeah, that was fun and that was enjoyable or whatever. But really, like, my heart and soul as a competitor is in creating something like this before I get done.
I agree with that. Which is why I disagree.
That's where I'm at.
I agree with that, which is why I disagree, because the term create has been evolved into something different. We think of create because we grew up in an era where someone gets drafted, Reggie Miller stays with the Pacers his whole career and makes a team that no one's thinking about, a contender for the NBA championship. We think about, Jordan going through the gauntlet.
Steph Curry and Golden State.
And then when you fast forward it up, that's what I'm saying. We think about the conventional wisdom of growing a team that sustains success. Ever since the decision, that has completely revamped what create means. And so when you have somebody who's gone to 7 straight finals,
8
and
now.
8 total, and no matter what you do on this coast, whether it's stay in OKC, go to Golden State, you make it to the finals, you're seeing LeBron. No matter what. So the ultimate goal is to win a championship, and if that is indeed the ultimate goal, I know that means whether I'm on the East Coast or the West Coast, at some point, I got to see LeBron. So if he's doing a revamp on what create means, I'm going to do it too. And I'm not in that pool of KD did the same thing that LeBron did. I'm not. But I am in the situation where, okay, if you want to look at it in a very simplistic fashion and say he joined a super team or he created a super team, LeBron did it twice. And it's ironic that people hate KD for his move and won't say anything about LeBron.
Oh, there's people who hate LeBron for his move.
There's people who hate LeBron for his move, but they don't also hate KD. They don't also hate KD. It's been an either or. I've been watching this for the whole finals on social media, and I've been combating it with, all right, you don't like KD for going to Golden State. Where should he have gone? Hell, I don't know. There's 29 other teams. Come on, man. There's 29 other teams, but we know 29 other teams aren't competing for championships.
And you hit it right on the money. He wanted to beat one guy. He didn't want to join him. He wanted to beat that one guy. And it happens to be LeBron because, as you stated, he's been looked at as number 2 his whole career.
See,
right.
I don't. As you guys remember when they went out of the playoffs?
Who?
OKC, and they were talking to him about the season being a disappointment. Thing he says, the season was a disappointment, and he was like, "Who are you talking to?" He's like, "You're not going to disrespect my season. You're not going to disrespect my teammates. You're not going to disrespect the work that we put in because we didn't win a championship." He said, "I'm not Kobe. I'm not LeBron. I'm not these dudes who put everything on winning a title. Like, that's not what it's about for me." He was like passionately saying, like, "I'm not them. I'm about the work. Yeah, I'm about striving to win a champion. I'm about striving to win a championship. But if it doesn't happen, like, you're not going to tell me that we didn't do nothing. That disrespects all the work that I put in, all the time I put in the gym, all of that stuff." That was out of KD's mouth. From his soul, right? Like, this is who I am. So now you got to talk about, like, oh, well, his whole mission was to beat LeBron. I don't think that was his mission. I think his mission was to hoop, was to play a certain way. Obviously, when you see LeBron, you want to beat him. But I don't think the way he made the decision was, I got to go to Golden State so I can beat LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's never come across as that dude. Now, when he's there and you put LeBron in front of him, yeah, we're going to see what's up.
We saw what's up this year.
All things being equal. You know what I'm saying?
Them numbers say otherwise. When he had LeBron in his face, that man went buck wild.
But that's my point. When you get there, but that's not what you make your decision. Like, this is the only chance I have to beat LeBron, so here I go. I just don't. I don't see. That's too simplistic.
You don't think this offseason that 29? Well, theoretically, 29 teams are going to figure out some sort of.
I think that was Draymond Green's motivation.
Philosophy to try to combat with the juggernaut that we just witnessed in Golden State. You're not going to just sit there on your hands on the offseason and say, all right, well, that's not the goal. No, like right now as we speak, LeBron is probably on some sort of text message with
talking
somebody.
to Paul George. Come to Cleveland.
Come to Cleveland.
He is.
We got to get something for this alien over here.
But here's the thing.
Hitting threes in my face.
Was that Draymond Green's motivation?
And it hurt.
So the thing is,
yeah, absolutely. He said
I don't know what's true or not, but rumor is after that Game 7 loss, he texted or called KD immediately.
Yeah.
KD's already denied and said that didn't happen. So somebody's lying. Well, but who cares?
Whatever it is, that was his motivation.
Okay.
Right? They were trying to figure out how they were going to beat LeBron.
Yes.
Right? And we can go back and forth on this. I just don't think that KD was sitting and like, man, I got to get LeBron. I got to go to Golden State. I think KD was like, man, like, I'm a free agent. I'm going to figure out where I'm going to go play and have a good time and have a chance to win the title. and it ended up being the best place, the people that were going to treat him the best and wanted him the most, and where he could play the game the way he envisioned himself playing the game was at Golden State.
Well,
It's just opinion, right? It's subject to opinion. But that's the way I feel. He didn't show up and say, hey, we're going to win 8, 9, 10, 12 championships.
He just showed up.
He just showed up.
Yeah.
Let's get to work. He said, man, I like these dudes. After he was like, these dudes will work. You hear David West in the locker room? He's like, man, these dudes work. They work. He wasn't like, oh, man, I beat LeBron. We beat, it's like, man, we got a special thing here. Like, these dudes show up on off days. They're about their craft. And KD is about his craft. And he's working with dudes who are about their craft and mastering their craft as much as they can. And the byproduct is winning the championship and beating LeBron. And I really think his priority was that. Like, this is what I'm going to do. And I think at some point in his career, he will change his priority.
All right. Well, that closed that out real quick.
I think he'll change his priority.
Again, this is The Real Spill, brought to you by WattsBasketball.com. Game changers for life. Our athletes learn to excel on the court while developing focus, confidence, and determination. They teach skills for the player in person, skills that will last for a lifetime. Game changers for life. Now, I don't understand why. I don't want to throw Donald out here because he is a lot older than me, but the old heads of the NBA feel a need to always come out and say, we beat this team, we can do this to this team. A guy you guys all know about, Rasheed Wallace, played in the NBA for 16 years. He was known for a lot of technicals. He leads the NBA in text. This man will show you up in a game if he disagrees with anything you have to say as an official. He has also said that the 04 Pistons, granted that team is pretty darn good. Defensively, Donald's smiling. That team
because they beat a super team.
No, they did. You can't tell me they didn't. They did it. They beat a juggernaut.
They just like Cleveland got 5 games swept. They 5 games swept a super team.
Perfect.
Kobe, Karl Malone, Gary Payton,
okay,
Shaquille
those guys.
O'Neal.
Okay, yes.
That's a super team.
The question would be:
that is a super team.
Could any
that is a manufactured basketball team, a super team.
Granted, there's some AARP on there, but
hey, that's a super team.
Let's look at the lineups as we'd put it. All right, for
Kobe
the Warriors,
and Shaq.
for the Warriors, you know who they got. I don't need to go over that. But you look at what Detroit has. It's kind of Ben Wallace wasn't a scrub. Okay. He actually put up 9.5 points per game along with 12 rebounds in the finals against someone who was the most dominant player in the NBA, a.k.a. Shaq, right?
Okay.
You got Richard Hamilton. What does he do really well?
Mid-range.
But here's the thing. Like, you can't talk about – you like to talk about matchups.
I'm just breaking it down because people – I don't think everyone knows. That's what I'm doing that.
So here, Chauncey Billups was on the thing.
I haven't even got to him yet, and he's Mr. Big Shot. He shot 47% from three.
But
crazy.
We had a long show, so we're going to cut this short.
Go ahead.
Chauncey Billups is on the thing. He said if we played with 2004 rules, we would beat them.
I think that would go in favor of the Warriors, though.
If we played with 2004 rules?
Well, think about it.
If they played with 2017 rules, he said I would have a hard time.
Well, the thing is, though, Curry got the ball on the string, so you can hand check him all you want. Once he gets enough room, what's he going to do? He's going to shoot it from 30 feet.
Nah,
You don't think so?
When you hand check, you can tell him where he's going. And when he goes where he's going to Ben Wallace.
That ball's on a string. I don't know if
it's not, Chris. The ball on the string, and you can't touch somebody.
I think it would favor the Warriors a little bit.
The advantage, if the ball is on the string and you can't touch, is 2017.
Yeah.
You can't put the ball on the string if I can put my forearm in you tell you where you're going.
That's
on
why
the
these
court.
comparisons are so tough.
You can't dance around left and right and all that because I put my hand on your right hip and I will push you to that right corner.
Well, let me ask you this.
And when we get you to that right corner, we're going to beat you in the head.
Yep.
Absolutely. That does not favor Steph Curry's style of play.
I look at Allen Iverson, for example. He is miniature. He handled that very well. He danced around. He was able to do it.
Allen Iverson is the fastest,
quickest guard you've ever seen.
Who ever put the ball in his hand.
Perfect.
Steph Curry is not.
He's not at all. But
He's not. So now you can't put your hands on Allen Iverson.
But look at Klay Thompson's defense. You don't think he can do that to Richard Hamilton?
So let's get some things.
It's so tough to compare
So
these
here's the
two
thing:
teams.
it's not about matchups.
No, okay, not about matchups.
It's not about one-on-one matchups.
Not about one-on-one matchups. Defensively,
it totally, and this is like, it totally disregards the game at that level, right? Like when you talk about OKC and Houston in the first round, you can talk about matchups. But when you talk about a Chicago Bulls team, right? When you talk about a Detroit Pistons team that after they made that Rasheed Wallace trade, teams didn't score 70 points on them. It's not about matchups. It's about the game. It's about the team. It's about the way they work together. When you talk about this Golden State Warriors super team, it's not about the individuals. It's about the collection.
well, I was getting that collection.
It's about
they have
the
a unit.
collection of the people. So you can't say, oh, Richard Hamilton would be guarding Clay and this. It's about the way Detroit played versus the way Golden State plays.
And I think that fast
Period.
tempo would be tough for them to keep up with.
Because if you look at the matchups, if you just look matchups in this Cleveland series, should have won 7. If you just look at matchups. But the way they play the game,
Up and down.
the commitment to each other, the defensive rotations. How many times during the series did you see LeBron, you see somebody coming down the lane and LeBron doing like this, looking at one of his teammates?
Where y'all at?
All the time.
When it's his rotation.
That's sad.
He was getting backdoor cut, and he's looking around like, so don't tell me about, he's the best player in the world. Don't tell me about the matchup. If I match up one-on-one, I'm taking LeBron over anybody. If it's one-on-one.
I would say it's more than the matchups.
But it's not one-on-one.
I'm looking
It's
at
not
that.
even 5-on-5.
I'm looking at the team aspect. Those
It's
guys
8-on-8.
run and gun. I don't know if that
9-on-9.
I don't know if that Detroit team can keep up with that speed. You can say hand checks all you want, because when we played basketball, there was hand checks. We were still fast. It didn't matter. Rotary style is a perfect example. AAU team that
Come
runs
on.
the floor.
Did you just bring up rotary style
As a team that
in the
runs.
conversation about the 2000
No, just listen. No, listen.
Detroit Pistons
A team that
and the
runs.
2017 Golden State Warriors?
It's the principle here.
Come
A team
man.
that runs. That's all I'm saying.
See, I'm about to we about to change this show up. It's him or me.
What you want to talk
Hey,
about?
this is about to be it's about to be Westbrook and Durant on the real spiel. I need
All
a new
I'm saying-
producer.
Can I get 2 cents in?
I need
all
a new
I'm
producer.
saying-
You need a new co-host. This
all-
guy brought up rotary style with the all-time great basketball
I'm talking about
teams
running. I'm not saying they're
in NFL.
I have
Man,
not said
we're
they're
gonna have
good.
to take a hiatus.
Oh my, he's not
I'm
even
gonna have to
listening.
shoot you some film and some video, some books
Just
on
listen,
life.
Listen.
We
The
gotta
fact-
get you back in the gym, bro.
Oh, here we go. See,
Game changers for life, man.
hey, here you go. I'm just saying the way they run. I don't know if Detroit can keep up with them. If you think they can because they're going to be fouling and hand checking, absolutely, that's fair. But I don't think it's going to get into their heads and stop them from competing. They would thrive for that energy. Bring it, yes. Foul me 95 feet away from the court, full court press. That's fine. Klay Thompson's going to be running around
You think
shooting.
Draymond wants something with Ben Wallace?
I think he won some with Rasheed Wallace or Tayshaun Prince. I don't know about Ben. Ben went crazy and destroyed, beat up everybody.
They got Zaza for that.
No.
They got Zaza for that.
No.
Wait.
It's
no.
so tough to do
Time out.
comparisons.
Time
But
out,
here's
'cause
the
I
thing.
want-
But here's the thing. Well, this is what I said. If it was 2004, I said what Chauncey said. If it was 2004 rules, I'd be very confident.
I would be too. I couldn't
He
blame him.
said if it was 2017 rules, I would have trouble.
Fair.
I disagree.
But you said that
They
if
would-
it was 2004 rules,
They could still hang with him.
then Curry would be better off.
I think the game. I think he would figure it out. I'm not saying he would dominate. I think he would
I
average
think it
20
wouldn't
points.
matter.
That's fair
I'm
too.
not saying
I
he
think it
would.
wouldn't matter.
I think he would still get his, Donald. You can say
We're not talking about who's going to get what. We
he
talking
would
about
still
who's
run
gonna-
an efficient offense. How
The
about that?
question is
How
who-
about that? Would he
the
not run
question
an
is who
efficient
would win.
offense?
The question is who will win.
See, I
don't think it matter.
Who would win? That's a tough one. We can't go back and
Right.
see that.
Yes,
Only
I mean,
thing you can do is play a video game and let him do a
Curry
simulation. That's it.
Curry could get off in any era.
He shoots from 35.
And that was my thing.
He could
If he
get
can
off
do that,
in any era.
there's really not much a handshake's going
He
to
has
do
literal
if they're setting illegal screens.
gym
If Zaza's coming up,
range.
picking guys at full court. I mean, it's
Draymond pulling Ben Wallace out to the 3-point line.
What,
Like
what,
there's
what did Magic say?
Magic said the same thing. James
He said
Worthy.
he'd sweep them.
I don't know about that because
That's what
they
he said.
really. I mean, I looked up how they played. They had one guy that could shoot the 3-ball. You know who that was? That was Cooper, and he shot 2 threes in the NBA Finals. I don't see how a team that's dominant at everything.
Listen, man.
And the Warriors could lose to a team that's
They're
only.
supposed to say this.
Oh, I agree.
That's my argument. Rasheed Wallace is not supposed to get on and say, "Oh, they would smack us,"
Oh, of
even
course
if
not.
it's true,
Of
even if
course
he
not.
believes it.
Of course
Now,
not.
What I disagree with is how relevant is this conversation?
The thing is, it's probably not that relevant because it's not going to happen.
It's not relevant. It's not going to happen. Why? That's not your line. That's not your line. If someone asks you and you answer, that's different. But if you just go out and say, "Well, I think
I
think my team is better," what you mean? Like why? No one's talking about you, dude. You had your shine in 04.
Yeah,
and you beat that that super team.
you did.
Even though it had ARP, mailman, the mailman that was bringing you, ground shipping, not next day shipping, right?
Yeah.
The glove with maybe a hole in it. You know what I'm saying?
It
It wasn't prime. You know what I'm saying? Like what we see right now, where Wade and Bosch and LeBron, they're all in their prime. Hell, they got drafted together.
Yep.
Right? But
I mean,
it doesn't
that team
matter.
looked like an Olympic team.
Which team?
That LA team.
At that time, it was.
I
It was
mean,
unheard of.
you
It was
can't
like,
make it
why?
up.
I mean,
but it was.
not
but-
at
but
that
go-
time. Just look at it compared to what it is now. Shaq, Kobe, Peyton, Malone.
Put it this way: it was
like,
perfect for that time.
It was perfect for that
it wasn't
time.
perfect. They got
Until
their butt kicked.
until the NBA Finals, right? Because for one, Kobe shot them out of that series,
Jacking up shots.
right? But not to take anything away from Detroit, because like Watt said, Detroit, it was tough to get 70 on them.
They got up in you. They
It
played
was tough
physical.
to get 70 on them, and they got somebody who could give you block work when they got Rasheed.
Yeah,
Yes.
When they got Rasheed, it all changed.
It all changed.
And
Because
if
all the
they
offense
would've
prior to
had
that was
Rasheed-
coming from Chauncey Billups and coming from Rip Hamilton off those screens. Ben Wallace was giving you 9 garbage points. That wasn't like we was running plays for Ben.
No,
he was getting his off the glass.
He was doing
right?
his thing.
But Rasheed on that block, that turnaround,
He's a
hey,
beast.
come on, man, it was a beast.
He's a beast.
You'd have to put Zaza on him, and at that point, I mean, what are we gonna do? So it's tough.
It is tough.
It's tough,
But it brings up
the
good
synergy,
combo.
and to Watt's point, the synergy of the Warriors is why I picked them, because it's an ecosystem. It's not one player. So throw the matchups out
Yep.
the window. It don't matter. On defense, they switch everything.
That's another point.
Well,
They're
On
so
defense, they
quick.
switch anything. So it don't matter. LeBron had to see in one play. LeBron would see Iguodala switch to KD, switch to
Steph,
Draymond,
Clay, you name it.
right? And sometimes even Clay.
But here's the thing. The synergy that you're talking about is the synergy that existed with all of those championship teams back in the day. Period. And so at the end of the day, all Golden State is a throwback team. And that's why this conversation is so intriguing and people want to have it. But if you really recognize what they're doing, they're playing old school basketball. Everybody's sharing the ball. Everybody's a part of it. The one part that they're not is that they don't have the same physicality, because that is not the game
Today.
anymore.
Yeah,
it's not the game.
it's-
And what they
Run and
don't
gun.
have in physicality, they have in stretching the floor. But I agree with all you guys. The conversation itself is kind of a dumb conversation. But what I was saying was that the 2004 the Golden State is built for today's game, and the game then was it was a completely different game. And if what you would have to figure out if you played against that Detroit team is if Zaza Pachulia can beat you.
He's not beating you.
But because that's what that Detroit team would find a way to do with their physicality, is they're going to say, this is your 5th dude on the court? Like, this is your number 5?
You ain't lying about
He's
that.
got to beat us.
You're not lying about that. It's a
Like,
And we
Steph
gotta-
come off the ball screen, we're trapping it.
doubling.
And we're not trapping it like, we're trapping
We're
it
not
with
just
hands.
showing.
yeah,
We're
hard.
trapping it with forearms. We're
Yep.
trapping it with hands. And then when you rotate to Draymond, we're rotating to him. And when you throw it to Zaza,
You better be ready.
we're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting conversation, as you can see.
It's barbershop talk, man.
We
I mean,
gonna
it's
see.
moot at this point because they got KD. And
Yeah.
who's checking KD?
Well, you got Tayshaun Prince that
He's
could
not
check.
checking KD.
He's not checking him, but he's not going to back down. You got Rasheed Wallace.
You can not back
But-
down all you want.
But it's not. I mean, they had to deal with Shaq.
Ricky Hatton didn't back down when he fought
All I'm going to say
Floyd,
is
and then
this.
he got plastered on the floor.
They had to deal with Shaq, and they dealt with him.
Well, that's
so
what I
it's a
said. That's why I
different
said
kind of
Kobe
dominance.
shot
So-
them out of the game.
Right.
There's no way I got Shaq.
You know, they had to deal with Kobe.
And
Kobe is just as much. I mean, I know we saw KD do his thing.
Yeah.
But Kobe is
he's a killer.
What?
He's a
Cold-blooded.
killer.
He's
Like as much of an assassin as anybody.
He's
Kobe's
a killer.
the number one. That's
He's a killer.
So I mean, we could talk
He's
KD.
cold-blooded.
We could talk, MJ. And
Committed
then,
suicide. But he's a killer.
We'll say it like this.
they dealt with some real.
This conversation can always go on because there's always going to be
But
that
it's got to
team.
stop because it's time to go.
There's always going to be that team that does that says that they can beat this team. Good conversation. Donald was like, whoa, the passion. I seen it. Did you see it, Dante? Because I saw it.
Man, yeah, if you bring up Seattle Rolling style
The
again,
thing is, you weren't
you're
letting
talking
me.
about all-time great teams.
When I
Come
was
on,
playing
man.
against them, I look at it, that's a running
all
team.
respect for Seattle Rotary and what they're doing for the community.
He's not
and
listening to me,
What
you know?
they've done
It's
for
okay, though.
kids and all
It's
that
okay.
stuff. But don't talk to him about me when we talk about all-time greats.
I'm not
Allen
saying
Iverson.
that. I'm
this
just
guy
saying.
said Allen Iverson, Seattle Rotary.
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
what?
In the
Let-
same sentence.
Come on,
If you
man.
let me, well, I'm not gonna explain. There's no
just,
point.
no, just edit that part out. Do that.
Nah, we're gonna leave that in there. We're gonna let people.
Do that.
No. To end it though,
You or
Before
me.
we get
dog.
out of here.
You or me.
yesterday,
Hey, everybody! I'm looking for a new squad.
Mayweather Promotions put out. There's going to be a fight on the 26th. There's been all this speculation of McGregor really trying to get in the ring with Floyd. Today, they took it down. Personally, I was hoping that this fight happens. The question is, before we get out of here, do you think McGregor really wants that problem getting in the ring with Mayweather, a guy that went 49-0 to box this man? Yeah,
That's
you
a
laugh.
loaded question.
Here's the thing with this. So you
I don't
guys
think-
talk about Katie's money and this and the notoriety and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he wants that problem.
Oh, he's
Floyd Mayweather has never hurt anybody. He's never ended anybody's career.
in boxing though, D?
All he does is get you paid. So do you want that problem? Yes. You're going to fight him for one night and make 10 times more than you would ever make in a real fight, which you get paid for?
UFC's real, don't
Yeah, UFC, you get paid to fight for real.
Okay.
Now you're going to go get jabbed a couple times by Floyd as he runs around for 10 times more than you would make in your career?
I think Floyd would knock him out.
You want that problem.
I think Floyd.
Hey,
It's
as a
two
matter of
different
fact,
sports.
I want that problem. But my point. This is my point. He goes into a UFC match. He got somebody really trying to knock his head
Kill him.
off.
But it's boxing.
They can
though.
kick him. They can do whatever. They're trying to put you down and out.
Yep.
Boxing, Floyd's trying to score points on you. For 10 times as much money as you make your whole career,
Mm-hmm.
it's economics. I mean, is Floyd going to hurt him worse than he would get hurt in a UFC fight? No. Is he going to step in that ring and lose and go home with a bunch of money and then go make more money in his next UFC fight? Yes. So, yeah, he wants that problem.
I think Floyd gonna knock him out. He don't want that issue. It's two different.
Even if he, and I
Dude's
agree,
got a
I
real
agree.
chin.
Oh, I bet he does. But we're not.
Yeah,
kicking.
I don't know.
We're
I
not.
don't know
We're
if
not
he got a-
throwing knees.
I don't know
We're
if he got a boxing
Donald.
chin.
When's
I
the
don't
last
know.
time?
Thank you.
When's the last
I don't
time
know.
Floyd knocked somebody out?
He don't have to knock
Ricky
out
Hatton.
boxers. Those are boxers. We're talking
Ricky
UFC.
Hatton.
Conor McGregor don't box. Conor McGregor's
Ricky Hatton went into that fight as the brawler. Remember that?
Oh,
And he
yeah.
got punished.
No.
He got paid, but he got
He
punished.
got punished. And I think
What was the
McGregor.
question? Does McGregor want that problem?
Yes, he does.
You better. Hey.
Yes, he does. He will
For
wake
example,
up and he will sulk with $100 bills
He
to.
ain't sulking nothing.
I guess not getting all that money. He gonna feel it though. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He's already talking smack, of course. We'll see what happens.
That's
Too.
the money.
Get the money.
Supposed to. He's
That's
selling
the
us.
money.
Selling
Well,
us.
come
I want the
on.
fight
He
to
ain't
happen.
selling me.
Come on, Chris,
Well,
listen.
we'll see what happens.
Chris.
August 26th. I'll tell you right now.
Chris,
you should get your
I'll
tickets.
be- and I'll be
tell
there.
him your Twitter handle, man. We ain't tell him your Twitter handle, man.
What's yours? You go first.
Come on.
I changed mine. You can't get on me now. I changed it.
Tell him your Twitter handle, bro.
Twitter handle is at CKID206, CKIDD206. Had to change it because Donald thought it was too complicated.
Make sure you follow him because this might be his last real spill with me. Donald Watts 24. Nah, that's my boy over there. I'm trying to break it down for you. I mean, is he gonna win? No. Does he want that? Was he want that L?
If you want the money, then say that. Don't come. I don't care about all the other
does
antics.
Does he want the L with all the millions that are coming behind it?
I'm telling you this
more than
right
he could
now.
ever see anywhere
McGregor's
else.
getting KO'd the 26th if that fight goes down. You want to bet money, Donald? We can
He's
bet.
getting paid.
Okay, he can get paid. I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about him getting in the ring and actually think he can compete with this.
Does he actually have a shot at winning?
He's getting
Hell no,
paid.
he ain't got no shot at winning. McGregor is
Are
a
they
UFC
kicking?
fighter.
Are they gonna kick?
No, Donald, it's
Nah.
boxing.
Are they gonna grab?
Nah.
It's boxing.
Are they gonna wrestle?
There
Nope.
you go.
Did you see the first sparring thing that he did with somebody?
Nah.
Whoever he was sparring with was whipping his ass, and they took it down
Can you blame
because it
him?
wasn't good for the fight.
No, it's not.
You know, like
It's not.
come on, man. Like
Come on. We
gonna get it.
I hope we get it. 'Cause I
I'll
wanna
cook
see-
for it,
Thank you. Now give him my $100 too afterwards.
and
After the first round knockout.
we gonna be paying for Floyd and McGregor to eat. That's it. Floyd retired. He wasn't gonna come back. He can come back because it's a big payday. That's all there is to it.
Give your Twitter handle, Dante, before we get up out of here, man.
Twitter handle, Instagram handle is TayP22, TAYP22. Follow me. I'll follow back. I'm not ashamed.
Is there anything else you want to add before we get out of here, man?
Just this summer in Seattle, man, support local hoop, man. We're gonna have the summer league every year. It's been a while since I've been with my hands in it. I supported Jamal for 3-4 years, helping that pro-am get to where it's at, and just bring your kids, man. I know it's gonna be a great event. Me personally, I got an app coming out. Be on the lookout for that if you're a sneakerhead. Yeah, we got some presents in store. If you want to follow sneaker_deadstock on IG, you can check out what we working on.
That's what's up.
There we go. Well, this has been another edition of The Real
The
Spill.
last edition.
So basically, if you have different viewpoints, you better be prepared to get grilled.
No, it's not different. I'm cool with different viewpoints.
Oh.
But when you start talking about,
Don't say it
bring
again.
It back. You're gonna bring it back to my point that
We're
I couldn't
gonna let
even
it
finish.
go.
But
Hey.
yeah, this has been another episode of The Real Spill. We want to thank you guys for listening and tuning in. We see the support, but you guys need to go on iTunes and actually write a review. Don't be hitting me talking about,
I'm a free agent, y'all.
Don't be hitting me talking about, Chris, the podcast is dope, man. You guys are doing good work. Just leave a review. That's all we need. Just leave a review. Go to iTunes, search The Real Spill. It'll give you details, reviews. Click the reviews. Give us a little rating. Leave your thoughts there. We would appreciate that. Donald, anything else, man?
WatchBasketball.com. Game changers for life.
There it is.
We gotta get Chris back in camp so we can get his
Here he go.
get
Me
his
and Donald
faculties
gonna play
together.
one-on-one. I'm gonna give Donald this business. I'm gonna give him
2017 or 2004 rules.
We can implement both, man. There ain't no worry. This has been The Real Spill Podcast. We will catch you next Monday. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. We are out.
All love.
Okay, so the Dark Knight, right? The scene, it's one of my favorite scenes because it speaks to evolution. And we see it in the game right now. You can apply this conversation that the Joker and Batman had to the NBA. He said, you've changed things forever. Everybody wants things to get back to the way they were, and that's not going to happen. That's how I view LeBron going to Miami. When LeBron went to Miami the way he did, it completely changed how basketball not is played, because he has no impact on the game. That impact will forever be in the hands of the GOAT, MJ. MJ has changed the way the game is played forever. But the way players play the transactional game, the off-season game, LeBron's got that changed forever. So what used to be the taboo of, I'm not joining up with him, is now the new cool because of LeBron. It's not going to stop until everybody stops. So KD's not going to say, oh, well, I'm going to create something when everyone else around them is starting to build super teams. I mean, we got DeMarcus Cousins and AD on the same court together. That just sounds freakish, and it's not translating. It's not translating for a lot of reasons. But you got those two pieces
that all
go through
want to shoot jump shots.
that want to go through a training camp together. First, Alvin Gentry is gonna let them do whatever they want. That's why it's not gonna work. That's why it's not gonna work. But you see what I'm saying? The transactions are still happening, where you got all these major pieces being formed together. It's never gonna change.